2 Kings 1 through 3. 2 Kings continues in the history of the divided kingdom, now divided over a century, as they head toward exile because of their disobedience to God. Ahaziah became ill and sent messengers to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, whether he would recover. God had Elijah intercept the messengers and ask them, "Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going to Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? And tell Ahaziah he will die." Ahaziah twice sent 50 men to summon Elijah, and Elijah called down fire and struck them dead. Will Elijah be one of the two witnesses during the tribulation when fire is called down? The captain of the third group of 50 begged for Elijah to spare them, and he did. God told Elijah it was okay to go to Ahaziah. Elijah repeated the word of the Lord, and Ahaziah died. Next, we see that Elisha and the prophets are made aware that the Lord is going to take Elijah. Elisha refuses to leave Elijah and asks for a double portion of his spirit. Elijah is taken up in a whirlwind as a chariot of fire and horses of fire appear. Wow! Elisha took up Elijah's mantle, which fell from him, and God confirmed Elisha as he too divided the waters of the Jordan. Elisha next purified bad water in a nearby city. Then when young lads mocked him, he cursed them in the name of the Lord, and 2 female bears tore up 42 lads. Not a good idea to mess with the man of God. Jehoram succeeded Ahab as king in Israel and did evil, but not as bad as his parents, putting away the sacred pillars of Baal. Moab rebelled against Israel, and Jehoram asked Jehoshaphat to help, which he did. We thought Jehoshaphat had learned his lesson. The king of Edom also joined them. Jehoshaphat once again wants to hear from God's prophet, so they seek out Elisha. Elisha talks to them only because of Jehoshaphat, and God said he would fill the trenches with water for them. In addition, the next morning, the Moabites thought the water was blood and moved in to take the spoil. Wrong! Israel slaughtered them. Seems like God works on behalf of his people sometimes in spite of us rather than because of us. Luke 24, 1 through 35, women visited Jesus' tomb on Sunday morning and found the stone rolled away. This wasn't to let Jesus out, but to let us in. 2 angels said, "Why do you seek the living one among the dead? He is not here, but has risen. Remember how he spoke to you while he was still in Galilee, saying that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the third day rise again." And they remembered his words. Somehow they had heard this truth before, but didn't comprehend it. Have you comprehended this truth? The women reported this to the 11 and all the rest, but they thought it was nonsense and didn't believe them. Do you think this is nonsense? But Peter ran to the tomb and looked in and saw the linen wrappings only, marveling as he went his way. Peter did some investigating and digging, and so should we. No one will convince you. Look for yourself. Ask God for yourself if all this is true. Jesus appeared to the 2 men on the road to Emmaus, but they were prevented from recognizing him. They related to Jesus what had happened and their understanding, or rather misunderstanding of it all. And Jesus said to them, "O foolish men and slow of heart to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary for the Christ to suffer these things and to enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them the things concerning himself in all the scriptures. Do you see this and hear this? Do you recognize the credence Jesus gives to the scriptures? Have you looked into Moses and the prophets looking for Jesus? You will find him there. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he vanished. They said to one another, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was speaking to us on the road, while he was explaining the scriptures to us?" This still happens now. Our hearts burn within us as he explains the scriptures to us by the power of the Holy Spirit. Bless his name.